Look, this bitch baited you. All right, look.
Thanks for watching.
All right, quiet on set, please.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Include that part in the intro. All right, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of the OTV podcast.
Woo,
and
best
today,
podcast in the world.
I'm joined by the very lovely, one of my favorite people in the world, Miss Pokimane. Welcome.
I'm gonna cry, and it's only 3 seconds into this episode. Sheesh.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Excited for your first podcast appearance?
Actually, yes. I've been very much looking forward to this. I wish that I planned more, but I did come very mentally ready to be as open of a guest as you could possibly desire.
Perfect. We're going to cover a lot of topics today.
Everything.
Talk about
Let's
everything.
get saucy. I know deep down you want to get saucy and toast. I want to get saucy.
You want to get
know?
saucy. All right.
Okay, wait. Can we start with this, actually?
Okay.
Within OTV, I feel like me and you are like secretly the most controversial. Maybe less so secretive for me, more so for you. But for me, like, I love to talk. I genuinely love to share my opinion. I've maybe shied away from it, like, the first few years of streaming because, especially just growing up, it's a little bit hard to properly formulate your opinion in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you're the same in the sense that you don't want to shy away from more sensitive topics. And I personally appreciate that a lot. Like, as a friend and as a viewer, I find it a lot more interesting than people who are like, zip.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day with where you are now, I would say you're kind of like in your, you're kind of in your Miley Cyrus phase.
Ooh, I can
like
see it.
after Hannah Montana, after Fortnite.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Not
Just
exactly
less
like,
drugs,
yeah,
but
less
yeah.
drugs and
Yeah,
going
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But you're in your like, I kind of did everything. I'm chilling. I'm going to say what I want now.
Yes, and I'm very much enjoying it. Mm-hmm. But also, personally, I don't really have a goal in particular that's like, I want to go crazy. And I seemed like a good girl, and now I want to be a bad
bitch.
I mean, I've always been a bad bitch, but I think it's more so just, especially as someone who like grew up on the internet, like not just on the internet, but in front of people. Like from 17 to 25, I streamed all of those like quite formative years. I think now I just want to care a bit more about the person that I want to be and a bit less about the person people want me to be. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm just in the process of figuring that out, experimenting, and prioritizing enjoying my life.
Yeah, when you were in your like Fortnite phase and you're getting a lot of attention, a lot of young impressionable kids, chats filled with like a lot of children talking. Mm-hmm. Have you ever felt like you couldn't say or do anything that you kind of wanted to do?
Honestly, I think it was a bit less so that I felt I couldn't say things that I wanted to say. It was just like I was also so young that it was more so like fear and not being aware of like the stark difference between me and some of the audience like within Fortnite, let's say. And it was just like there was this little fire burning within me, this sentiment of I want to be a person that can eloquently voice my opinions, that can say what they want, that can stand for what they believe in. But when you're like 22 and all you've ever known is gaming and streaming, it's kind of hard to actually be that person. Mm-hmm. So I think it was less so that I felt I had to filter myself and more so like I was still figuring out who the heck I was in the first place. And especially like when you have such an audience, it's easy to just be influenced by them and be like, oh, they're gearing me towards doing this and liking this and being this kind of a person. So yeah, I guess it was a little like not that self-aware.
Yeah, I remember when Fortnite would start popping off, like, what was that, 4 years ago now?
It's like 3.
I remember us talking and you taking it pretty seriously. And when Valorant came out, you like really tried and you recently hit Immortal, which is pretty much as, how many people are Immortal? Like,
I think it's like 10K.
That's
I
like,
don't know the
but that's
percentage.
less than, I would say that's 0.1%. Probably even less. And was that a lot of practice, like off stream? A lot of what made you want to push for Immortal? Because when it comes to women in gaming, it's always
women
been
in gaming.
Women, like high ranked women. The topics discussion around them is always very contentious, and you could easily just have been Pokimane, plat diamond gamer. Wow, that's pretty good. But everyone was always gonna add, yeah, pretty good for a girl. Yeah, she's pretty good for a girl. But you actually made the effort to push for Immortal. Why is that?
Immortal's top 1.2%.
Oh,
interesting.
Pretty high.
Yeah. I think for starters, I really like the game. So that's step one. I've had numerous addictions in my past. League of Legends, Fortnite. Now we're in Valorant. And when I really care about something, especially when I care about streaming something, I want to be like as good as I feel I can reasonably be. And especially this being my first FPS, I liked that I could just look up so many videos and find a very clear-cut way in order to get better. You just aim train a ton, you play the game a ton, you learn the game, and I enjoyed every part of that. Like, I genuinely learned I enjoyed just grinding my ass off in that game. I enjoyed every game that I played, for the most part. And I think it was seeing the progress that really felt good, especially progress in something that you are initially so clueless in. I remember, dude, I feel like anything anyone in OTV tells me, like I remember so specifically, there was one day we were playing customs. I don't know if you remember this. We were playing customs and I had just started aim training every single day. And I was top of the leaderboard or whatever. I was out fragging everyone within our friend group. And I remember you messaged me and you were like, when did you get so good at this game?
Yeah, because...
And I was so flattered. Things like that motivated me to keep trying so much.
Yeah, because when we started playing, we were all kind of similar level, right? But with you were a bit of a sweat.
Yes.
You were training, because you were teaching people about, on the Valorant maps, they give you a lot of indicator for where your head level is.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, just look at here and you know where the head's going to be. I'm like, why do you know that? Huh? Well, you've been watching videos and playing with pros?
I sure have.
Yeah. And how has the public reaction to that been?
Honestly, when it comes to the public reaction to almost anything, I don't really see that much by design. I will generally see what my friends say on Twitter and stuff like that. And in that regard, it's been pretty positive, which I appreciate a lot. Obviously, there will always be little corners of the internet, random TikTok video here, TikTok comment there, YouTube comment. There will always be places for people to go, oh my God, Pokimane, she's isn't even that good. I watched her play for 2 seconds and she missed a headshot. And it's those places will exist. But I feel like I'm overall pleasantly surprised. But I also think my standards are really freaking low. I remember prior to hitting Immortal, when I could tell I was really close to it, in my mind, I could already think up of all these excuses people are going to give and things that people will say. And I had no idea if I would post it and everybody would discredit me. But luckily for the majority, majority of the part, most people were really, really nice, especially friends, other content creators. So I feel like that helped legitimize my achievement, which meant a lot. But yeah, because I already knew so many people would likely tear it down anyways, I kind of precautioned myself by making sure that it feels like a personal win more so than I will only care if other people validate me about this. And I for sure freaking feel good about it. I stream my games in high elo, so I'm happy.
Yeah, it was, I was really impressed when you hit it, because Immortal's pretty much one of the hardest things to do in Valorant, because everyone in Valorant is so
sweaty.
Very sweaty at the high level.
Okay, but let me tell you, I think the difference is everybody has pretty good aim in Immortal, High Diamond, Radiant. For starters, you can even tell stats-wise the difference between Immortal, top 1%, and top 0.1%, that gap is huge. In my opinion, that's the difference between someone who's gold and someone who's diamond.
Wow.
It can be that much of a difference, or platinum diamond. It's even more than a tier, actually, I'd say. But I will say, people's aim is really freaking good, but they don't really care to learn the game that well. They don't always want to play for time. So I know that I can put in the efforts in non-natural born gaming ways, like strategically figuring out things that work, whether it's lineups. Like I can put in the nerd studying hours in areas where other people won't. And luckily that gives me a leg up, sort of.
Oh, very cool. Speaking of saucy, spicy stuff, the Twitch earnings, as you may have heard, came out, leaked everyone's income for the last 2 years. What rank were you?
39.
39? That's lower than what a lot of people expected, right?
Yeah.
And you tweeted out, go ahead and pull up that tweet.
Oh, we love a good spicy tweet.
I remember seeing this. I'm like, "Ooh, this is something I would tweet out if I was on Twitch." I'd be like, all these guys are like, because for me, I like to ride my high horses whenever I can, and in situations where I can't, I just like, I don't want to talk about that. But I would tweet something similar. It's like, because people don't the audience still don't really understand just how much money people make. And this is just Twitch income from subs and ads.
Yeah.
Those two things, not counting bounties or donations or sponsorships. It's like 2 of 10 pieces of pies, right? And you're pretty low, and you talked about how you captured a donation a year ago because for those who don't know, it was a year ago. There was just people. It was like the shitting on Pokimane train. There was this YouTuber who's been just permanently banned from YouTube
because the things he said were so damn bad.
Yeah, it's like to get we've seen some real degens on YouTube.
I know. Sometimes I think about that time of my life, and I'm like, was that a fever dream?
Yeah, it's like, oh no,
did someone with like millions of subs really get banned off YouTube because they couldn't help like shit talking me and lying about me and just like trying to roast me 24/7? Like that's crazy.
It's crazy that it happened because I think like just a few months later, YouTube like streaming circle became pretty PC, like very like
Among Us went boom.
And attracted a lot of like younger kids who are more like, hey, that's not cool. Like they're very woke.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes too woke for their own good.
Can we table that so we can discuss that later? Because I do want to discuss that too.
Yeah, but my feeling is it's better to be too woke than not to allow like what happened to you to keep happening to people, right? I feel like what happened to you wouldn't really fly today because a lot of the Twitter culture would be like, hey, that's not very cool of you to say that.
Which honestly I appreciate a lot.
But you tweeted like you captured donation because a lot of people...
I said, at least people can't over-exaggerate me making millions off my viewers anymore. Basically because back then when it was like shitting on Poki trend or whatever, a lot of people would say that there were like these tweets that were very clearly jokes where people are like, Poki, I donated my entire rent to you and my wife is mad at me. But it's like, it's random tweets on Twitter from like anime profiles. It's not a real person. But people would use that and then hold it against me and then also make jokes about me like having tons of simps and this and that. When in reality, like most streamers my size or larger have like multipliers of my sub count. I don't really push for subs that much. 2, it ain't that deep. And 3, obviously all those tweets were just not real.
Yeah, it's weird because you have the people tweeting, oh, Poki, my queen, I can't pay my rent this month because I donate to you. Like, this guy's obviously being facetious and he is essentially like trying to make fun of how pathetic like people who donate to streamers are. Like, he is kind of mocking your audience. So he's like one of the people who want to like insult you. But then you have the other people who then take that what that person is saying as real and saying, wow, Pokimane made this guy miss his rent. She's the terrible person. So these two people are in the same group and they're like, oh no, this guy's a simp and I'm just trying to save his life by keeping him from donating his money to you, when in reality, neither of these people are actually supporting you in the first
And
place.
I'm sitting at home like,
Yeah, like they came up with a straw man themselves and said, look what damage you're doing to this person. And I think your average supporter, like someone who donates to your stream, is just like, oh, no, I just gave her $5 and she read my message. That was it.
I just memed in her donos and then I went home.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just watched her stream and that's it. And so you tweeted this out saying like, hey, here's proof that I don't actually get that much money from subs and donations because I don't actively push for it. Because like I said, you're kind of in your Miley Cyrus phase where you kind of made your money, you made an impact. You don't need to be out there saying like, 100 subs, guys, 100 subs.
Please.
You're just chilling.
Yeah.
So you tweeted this out because you don't want those narratives going around.
Yeah.
How was the reaction to this tweet from streamers and like?
I am glad. Like, I feel like if I tweeted something like this a year ago, like it just wouldn't fly. Like, I almost would feel like I'm not allowed to. But I'm glad that now people's reaction is like, well, I feel like people needed definitive proof before believing me, unfortunately. Yeah. Like, I wish they could have just taken my word a year ago. But I think overall the reaction is like, yeah, you know what? You're right. You did cap your donos. We can see the facts of how much you make. And there's really just no negotiating what I've said because there's evidence to it. So I'm sure there probably were some salty people. But again, I just like, if I read every comment, my brain's going to boom. So I just don't. Yeah, overall, I'd say positive, which I like. Dude, being able to tweet spicy and not getting shit for it.
But yeah, the Twitch leak itself was kind of crazy. And
yeah. What did you think about it?
Well, I remember making a video about Twitch income like 2 years ago saying, guys, we make a lot of money. We get paid $10,000 an hour for sponsorships. Like that's...
Yeah. And people don't even see that. Yeah. I think that would be so interesting for others to see. The numbers of like exclusive deals, especially for those like Ninja or Shrouds deals, and like sponsorship numbers. I think sponsorship numbers will just like blow people's
sponsorship
brains.
Numbers are the fun, interesting
It's
ones.
almost like RNG, you know?
Yeah. Like what's the highest? We can get into some numbers here. Have you heard of like really, really high figure deals, like one-offs, long terms? I'm trying to think.
Oh my God. Okay, not too long ago, like a few months ago, I was offered to do this down horrendous deal. Picture this. Like, it's a mobile game, of course. You have to stream it, of course, on numerous occasions for short amounts of time, like maybe an hour or two, but numerous occasions. And the mobile game has to be played on, like, let's say a phone or an iPad or whatever. Like, just the thing that you would, like, not usually do.
Yeah.
And I had to go elsewhere for it. And it was just like, it felt like the most inauthentic thing ever. But it was like 6 figures plus. Like 6 figures, and the figure doesn't start with a 1. You know what I'm saying? And I had to turn it down because, like, I couldn't. Like, I could tell it was the kind of thing that, like, during my soul would just evaporate from the inauthenticity. And I feel like we're all pretty lucky that we're at a point where, like, our brand has, like, pretty good value. And I feel like sometimes when viewers see you do things that are so disingenuous, like if they see you take a sponsor for something that you just shout out, they're like, get that bag. Yeah. But if you're like out there doing things that are just like so off brand for money, it just doesn't feel right. So
yeah, it sounds weird because you have to weigh the costs and benefits because the benefit is 6-figure deal, go somewhere and play some mobile games for a few hours, like a couple of times, a few times over the course of a few months. And you turn that down, and a lot of people's reaction will be like, why?
I can't believe,
Like, why would you do that? Like, I would love for that. It's like, what would be the tangible impact of it? It's hard to quantify. Like, is my audience really going to be like, oh, you took a mobile deal? Well, I'm not going to watch you. But it does.
Maybe we should break it down for people because I don't want to seem like ungrateful for having
Yeah.
deals like that. It's amazing. But if anything, what I really want to say is I would rather turn down that money than do something that just feels like extremely inauthentic and sell something to my audience that doesn't feel like something I would genuinely ever do. Whether it's playing that game, whether it's what I'm playing on, whether it's really all of it. So I think you probably consider this sometimes too. It's like you also don't want to play a game that like you don't know that well. You're gonna be like fumbling around on stream. The content will be dry, bro. Like,
yeah. No, yeah, I've done a few of those. And
same.
I
And
know,
they've scarred me.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, what am I doing right now? Like, I don't play this game, I don't care about it, but they offered like a large sum of money. Is the impact gonna be that noticeable? And it's hard to tell. It's like seeing a B-list celebrity do car of insurance commercials.
Or seeing celebrities do cameos.
Oh, like that the website Cameo.
Where you pay them like $100 to say anything. I'm like, bro, 100. Like you feel like your words are only worth $100 for anything? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I feel like things like that lead to like brand dissolution. So there's two. In my opinion, there's like two sides of it. There's like the emotional, personal, would you hate what you're doing? Would you not enjoy yourself? Blah, blah, blah. And then there's also the logical side to taking deals like that, which is like the benefits and cons to your brand. And I feel like things like that are a massive con to your brand. Like if you stream mobile games for money like 6 times within even like a month of a period, and that's not something you usually do, as a larger streamer, I think a decent part of your fan base would just like, whether they say it or not, like they won't see you as highly as they used to.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And that's something that is like not quantifiable, but you have to be very aware of it.
Yeah, like what you mentioned about Cameo. Like when I see celebrities on Cameo,
Bruh.
hey bro, can we just check Cameo real quick and see what celebrities are on there?
There's that one guy on Shark Tank.
Kevin O'Leary?
I think so. And people just pay him to promo their products. But it's like, if you're a businessman, shouldn't you feel like your word is worth a lot?
Yeah, I feel like if you're on Cameo...
Like, I feel like you need some level of integrity to be like, maybe I should check what I'm vouching for.
Yeah, like, your brand will... When I see someone on Cameo, like, I feel like their brand gets, like you mentioned, diluted a little bit.
I agree. Because when you can get someone to, like, say anything... At some point, even that value wears off. Whether it's like shock value or interesting or entertainment or whatever.
Yeah. You can do live video calls too.
Oh, you can talk to the guy from The Office, Kevin. The most common I've used for these I've seen is bigger YouTubers talking to celebrities and then putting on their YouTube channel.
I feel like that's worth the YouTuber's
That's
money.
like worth way more than $100 you paid a celebrity.
Yeah, you'll make more in AdSense for sure.
Yeah, but that's just part of being.
Is that a nipple? Oh my God, isn't she from The Office too?
Yeah.
Wait, why would that be the photo?
I'm going to the actor portion.
I don't recognize any of these actors.
But if you want to type in Kevin O'Leary, I'm pretty sure he's on this.
Oh, Percy from Harry Potter.
Oh God, is that what he's been up to?
I will say it probably makes sense to do Cameo for a lot of people, whether it's voice actors, like certain actors, like up and coming potentially. But yeah, you have to consider the brand hit.
Yeah, being an actor is... I can imagine it to be very stressful.
In your future? Is that really something you'd want to
do? Welcome to the Shang-Chi portion of the podcast. The dedicated
we need one of these in every podcast. Thank you for listening.
So, no progress updates since the last 3 weeks we've been talking about this. I always thought it would be more fun to like be behind the camera for a bit and then do some stuff in front of the camera, because I think you learn way more like seeing how other people do it. It's like, oh, they did it like this, they did it like this. It's kind of how I started in streaming. It's like you look at what other people do and you just see what you can do better, try and recreate it. So yeah, that's your Shang-Chi update of the week for this podcast.
No, but what interests you so much in the idea of being in Shang-Chi?
Just mainstream appeal. I think being a streamer, like a gaming streamer, it's like two roads. You can always be a gaming streamer. I can be a gaming streamer forever and like play the new game, try and get on the meta, make cool things happen. But what's your biggest impact, right? Like the biggest impact a gamer has had would be Ninja. And he
went Omega.
he went big, got on Ellen, played Fortnite, huge.
Put gamers on the board. We are people.
Yeah, made a lot of money, and now kind of paved the way for those platform deals. Honestly, thank you, Ninja.
Thank you. I feel like he deserves a cut. Of all of our deals.
Like Ninja's manager was really like smart about what he did, and kind of like set all of us up. It's like, well, Ninja did it, so where's my giant bag of money? And now he's just kind of coasting, right? But having a big impact like that is cool, but. A Robert Downey Jr., a Brad Pitt, or Leonardo DiCaprio, like those guys' impact is huge. Or even directors like Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg, like household names. And
you want to be a household name?
Yeah.
What makes you not want to do it through gaming? Just the smaller likelihood of it occurring that way in comparison to more traditional things like acting?
Yeah, and also gaming is so niche still. Like XQC, I would say, is the biggest Twitch streamer when it comes to English speaking language, but I would say he not a lot of people would know him, right? If you're in gaming, you would know him, but a lot of people still aren't in gaming, and maybe gaming reaches a point one day where it's like synonymous with television and movies.
That would be cool.
That would be very nice.
But we're still far from there.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, do you want to game forever? Right.
My wrists hurt sometimes.
Yeah. So I feel like Hollywood, television, movies is just more fun, or just more long form YouTube videos.
I really wonder, because from my perspective, the flip side to it is, there are all those upsides, but the downsides is like lack of creative control whatsoever. You're at a producer and editor's mercy entirely. And I feel like the business must be very different, but have a lot of its own issues, I guess you could say. So I guess at least from my perspective, I always felt like acting could be cool, but I feel like I don't have the chops for it. And type A, I just like being in control. So either way, I wholeheartedly vouch for you to be in Shang-Chi too, if anyone's listening.
You can be like Tom Cruise. Do you know what he does? So for all of his movies, he is like the top executive producer. So the reason he's still able to do stunts and stuff, because normally director will be like, oh, big stunt where you could kill yourself, you're not allowed to. One time a director told him that, and he was like, I'll just get a new director. You can go.
Oh my God. Having that kind of power is the goal. Damn. Wait, what if, to put you on the board for Shang-Chi 2, we produce our own thing?
A movie?
Like a short. Maybe a movie's a bit much, but a short. I feel like we could do it. We could make it sick.
Do you think it will take, because I've thought about something like that, do you think the audience would just be so taken back? It's like, no, that's Disguised Toast, that's Pokimane, that's Little Future. I cannot be immersed.
But we would have to act our butts off. Like, it would have to be so mind-blowing that we force them to be immersed. Or we all change the way we look drastically. I'll go bald.
A lot of YouTubers have tried to go mainstream, like TikTokers. I saw Addison Rae, what's her name?
Yeah.
Had her own movie, and
Did you watch?
I watched a movie recap of it.
Me too.
Because I don't feel like I
only watched
would be
a movie
able to.
recap. Don't think I'm the target audience. I'll be honest. I guess maybe I am, but younger.
Yeah, younger Addison Rae fans. I feel like a lot of these influencer movies are just for their fans, and no one else would really want to watch it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, if you were her, do you think that's a good move? Because, there's that natural thought of like, this sequence of events is sick. I pop off on TikTok and then I'm in a movie and I'm an actress now, and it's like even more mainstream, more attention, more celebrity status, right?
Yeah.
But also like if you come from TikTok, chances are you're not like insane at acting. And then perhaps, you know, the results, the ratings, the actual movie or TV show won't be that great.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it actually puts a stain on your reputation of like an influencer who tried too hard and too fast. You're like, I'm an actor now, right? And you know, Logan Paul kind of went through it. I know this is a movie with Shane Dawson years ago as well.
I didn't hear about that actually.
Paris Hilton, like just a lot of people who aren't actors. I feel like the ones who are successful, I feel like The Rock is a great example. He was a wrestler and he was in an entertainment role, like he was playing it up, but he wasn't like acting, right? He was a wrestler who was entertaining.
Yep.
And he started as just like side roles and slowly made a name for himself.
I think that is really the best way to do it. And make sure that every time like you do slightly transition, that you do it well.
Yeah.
And then like slowly build upon that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a lot of YouTubers or TikTokers and music careers. It's like it's so hard for me to think of anyone that's done it super well aside from Bella.
Yeah.
But like her music, the video, all of it was really well done.
Yeah.
So I think it's only a good move if the end product is genuinely that good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it always sounds like a good move, especially from the creator's perspective. You're like, you want me to do what? Heck yeah.
Have you been approached for music and movies, films, TV?
I've been approached for like acting roles here and there. Not like big ones, but like things. I'm always like, I don't act. But I'll show up as myself if you want me to do that. So I feel like I'm more of like a cameo type of gal. Or if something like specifically for some reason made sense for me. But the way that I see it, whether it's acting, music, or really any other skill, I feel like I have so much respect for professionals that do that I wouldn't go into it unless like I really took the time to master that skill somehow. I'm not going to do it just for like some extra attention or, you know, some like status that it might give me. I just don't think it's worth it.
Because you kind of only have one chance at a good first impression, right?
That's true,
and you don't want to be like Pokimane the movie and you're the main character.
I have an IMDb, no fucking way. Sorry, Broden's doing all this stuff on the screen. I'm looking like a toast. Wow, that's me.
Oh,
my image is just free guy.
What's Poki's IMDb credits? Actress.
Better known as Pokimane. That's me, man. Oh my God, look, known for Offline TV.
Known for Offline TV, free guy. Known for Michael Reeves.
I'm known for Michael Reeves. I made him.
I don't know who put these Offline TV ones up.
Dude, that's sick.
But someone put like some of our big production ones up on IMDb. And like I guess they count as like TV or like web TV.
We're legit. We're legit as F.
Yeah, but you would never do something like off the bat, Pokimane the movie, or like starring your own movie.
I am so afraid of anything that could remotely come off as cringy.
It would probably be cringy.
Exactly. So it has to be the perfect fit for me to really say yes.
Yeah.
Wait, you got to win in 3 nominations?
Hell yeah, I did.
Nominated for the
yeah.
Shorty Award Twitch Streamer of the Year.
Yeah, Pog. A lot of streamer stuffs. But all that is like, fans, please vote. Oh, sorry. So, yeah, that's so cool. I didn't even know they put these up on IMDb, which I don't know why, but...
There's a question on here. Mm-hmm. What is a big fear? Do you have insecurities, Pokimane?
Yeah, of course. What?
Huh?
All human beings have insecurities, of course.
Wait, number 1 female Twitch streamer Pokimane has insecurities? Really?
Yeah, duh. Legit. Have you met anyone with no insecurities? I'd be fascinated. I'd be like poking at them. Are you?
No, I think everyone I've met has insecurities, but some people just
Won't admit it to themselves?
they're good at hiding it, or they just like always seem so confident, and you just assume, wow.
I think that's fine. I think you can reach a level of confidence while still like having insecurities. I've just like kind of accepted them.
What are you insecure about?
When you've been shat on for like everything, you're just like, it's all the same, you know? Like I could change almost anything about myself and people would just find something else to be upset about. So when I almost like reverse engineer that, I'm like, the most time efficient thing to do is to just accept everything about myself. As girls, it's like anything can kind of be better. Like you could lose weight, your stomach could be flatter, your butt could be bigger, your chest could be bigger, your nose could be smaller and flatter, your face could be more V. Your lips could be, it's like, you know, like it's never going to run out. But when you start focusing on those things, I feel like you are training your brain in a way that will only hurt you later. So, yeah.
Yeah. Those who don't know, big streamers also have a lot of insecurities and
plenty.
Problems and stress and anxiety.
Every big streamer, if you're even above like a 2K, probably 2K, Andy, you're insecure about your viewer count. Like, for freaking sure. I actually think sometimes the bigger streamer you are, the more insecure you are about your viewer count. And it almost like pains me to hear that from other people that I feel are like doing so much and are really great and successful, because I feel like it's almost like inadequacy is what's driving them, which isn't a very like fulfilling thing to chase, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people in our friend group has experienced like a boom in popularity over the last year, but you know, since Among Us is gone, a lot of I would say everyone's viewership has been trending down the last 4 months, and quite a few of them aren't taking it so well. Like in terms of they get really stressed now. They have a lot of anxiety. Like I know one that has to like take some edibles at night to help them sleep because they're actually losing sleep.
Really?
From
thinking about it?
Yeah, like their success and like how they're going to become irrelevant, and it's like really sad to hear.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they've had a taste of like success, and because everything's going down, they just think, oh, it's over for me. This is the
end, yeah.
Even though their current viewership is still much higher than where they were 1 year ago.
Not just that, but like probably more than enough to like satisfy being full-time, being financially stable. I think in that regard, I'm really, really lucky because I've been streaming so long. I've seen so many ups and downs, and I don't ever have my viewer count up. So even if I'm aware of like the way things are generally trending, I think I'm, God bless, thank you. I think I am like really at a point where I'm much, much more desensitized to it than most people. That's why like sometimes people will come to me and they'll be like, I'm doing everything that I can. I'm trying new things. I'm streaming more, and somehow like my viewership is still down. And the thing that streamers need to accept is like sometimes positive or negative external circumstances impact your viewership, and you can't do anything about it. Could we have predicted Among Us and it making all of our viewership increase? No. Can we predict its departure and, you know, school returning and this and that, and therefore less overall traffic on the website and that also impacting our numbers? No, like there's just nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just be happy, stream shit you like, have a good time, and find other goals aside from ones that aren't fully in your control.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. It is hard.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I feel like you're one of the few people who's not afraid to talk about this, is friendship as streamers. It's really fucking weird.
Yeah,
and I brought it up to Michael, but Michael's he stays
detached
out of
enough,
it because of
God. I'm so jealous of him.
Because like he sees the shit we go through, and it's like, what the fuck? It's like what? It's like it's weird to see friends who are competitors in streaming who are nice to each other, but also this kind of drama that switches between multiple people at any given time.
And then how do you navigate how you interact with people whether it's professional, whether it's business related, like all of that is a lot.
Yeah. So you want to touch on what is it like? What's a friendship like as a streamer? Just give them some context.
You need to define. Everybody defines that differently, and it's tough because like I can say I'm like friends with a lot of people, but there's also like for me personally, there's a level of friendship where like you're a good friend. In that regard, like the way that I see friendship is the way that I've been lucky enough to have it. Good friends, like they care about you, they check up on you, they see how you're doing, they'll be there for you when you need someone. And there's just like kind of these levels of expectation that you cannot hold for someone just because they stream with you, or just because they'll play games with you, or just because people on the internet think you guys should get along. And that's been, you know, a thing to learn. And it's also difficult because there are some people that you can like plenty and want to be closer with, but if they just don't view friendship in the same way that you do, then you can't be that close to them. So,
Yeah.
and having like a business, like OTV network, it's exploded so much over the last year. At this point, it's almost like we're in the business of friendships, which is very, very complicated. Like, where do you draw the line? So I think I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm very comfortable with the people that are like closest to me. And then aside from that, like I just try to treat people as well as I can, but like expect nothing from them to not complicate things.
Yeah, OTV being essentially a business of friendship is it makes things very difficult because everyone's on different wavelengths. Some people, I think you do a good job of separating like business decisions and friendship decisions. But like, for example, Lily is more like one and the same, right?
Yeah.
I'm friends with you. That means I want to do business with you. I'm not friends with you. I don't want to do business with you, right? And navigating is hard because some people just let business decisions spill over. But when you live together, you play games together,
Complication.
it's complicated. So right now, like even in our friend group, behind the scenes, there's a lot of like just some uncomfortableness going on, and it kind of sucks, and everyone don't really know what to do, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
I think what's also difficult is like everybody comes from very different walks of life.
yeah.
And oftentimes when they have issues, I think it's harder for them to communicate it in this circumstance than in almost any other one. Like, can you imagine if you feel like you are a smaller streamer and you feel like a larger streamer disrespected you, or maybe you have an issue with something that they're doing, or something that they're doing makes you uncomfortable? You have to consider that dynamic from like a work perspective prior to even communicating how you feel. And I mean, I can imagine something like that occurring in like a work or corporate environment, but rarely are you also friends and in the same friend circle in that environment. And I think that's what kind of makes me the most sad about it all. I wish people were just more open about the things that they felt, as opposed to like, yeah, just like sharing with their friends, and things always go around. So, yeah, it's complicated to navigate. How do you feel about it though? Because I feel like you are like just very straightforward. And I assume by design, because you just don't want to be involved in like drama or issues. Like you're very clear with like the expectations people can have of you, and you are very, what's the word? Like fair? Like what, Broden, what's the word when you ask someone for their opinion and they'll give like a very reasonable response? Not biased? Something like that.
Unbiased sounds right.
Oh, thank you.
Unbiased opinion, yeah.
I don't know if there's another word you can think of. But whenever I'm like, I need an objective perspective, I go to Toast and I tell them the whole thing. And I'm like, what's going on here? And you're just like very reasonable in your take.
Yeah.
Impartial, neutral.
Impartial, yeah.
Yeah. I think I mediate pretty often between people because I try and be as impartial as possible. Like even we've had like cancellations over the last 4 or 5 years of our careers, and
Sure have.
some of these people who are like getting canceled will still like ask, hey Toast, what should I do? And I would give them advice that I think is best for them, that sometimes will go against what's best for like some of my friends, because at the end of the day, it's like you gotta do what's best for you, right? I don't want to tell you something that's gonna work against you just because I want someone else who I like more benefit from it.
But what if what's best for you is not to tell them that? Because then if the other person knows, then they will hold that against you. You know? Like, these are the complications.
Like, you gave good advice to my enemy. Like, well, I also don't want to lie to the person and give them bad advice. So
I feel like we wind up in these situations a lot where it's a little bit like pick and choose as soon as there is an issue or conflict. So,
but yeah, it's because I'm pretty biased in my decision from time to time. Like when it comes, like I have to make a decision, I would tend to side with the people I personally like them more, even if they are wrong, and it has happened before. But I always try and be as upfront as I can. It's like, look, I'm making this decision, and the reason is I like this person.
yes, no, Toast will straight up say that. I've seen this on numerous occasions, and it's funny because like you are known as this very like logical, blunt, monotone guy a lot of the time, and you do have all those qualities. You're really witty, but there is also a part of you that once you like someone, you stand by that quite a lot, which I like a lot. And when you see that peer through, sometimes in your mind, you're like, this doesn't make sense. But you're also just so straightforward about it. You're like, I am making this decision to be illogical because I like you. It's cute.
Yeah, but I try and stay out of it. Like I have these phases where I hate everyone in our friend group.
For me, it's less so hate, and I will just be like, I would like to run away to Canada.
Yeah.
Because to me, Canada's like this land of family and love and rainbows, and no problems will ever happen there. And when things get complicated here, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Bye. Yeah. I mean, I've done that a couple of times where it's like, okay, this is getting too much. I'm going back to Canada for 2 months. And then people start messaging me and say, hey, you know, this thing happened, what do I do? And then I feel like, okay, I need to go back to the States because... but what I've learned is everyone is nice and they ultimately are good people. But you have... Well, our friend group has ballooned to like 50 individuals, all streamers, all experiencing.
It's just impossible to manage.
Yeah, and there are times where it's just like a decision has to be made and someone's going to be unhappy, right? And what do you do then?
It's tough.
I try to stay out of it, but I swear to God, you leave some of them alone and they start self-destructing sometimes as well. Brody, what do you see? You know, because Brody.
Oh yeah.
Brody, you're the camera guy. I bet you see like, wow, this is weird.
Shit, bro.
Some of the hardest stuff is like inviting guests to offline shoots because there's like, we have such a big friend group, but then it's like,
how do you pick and choose? Oh wait, has it ever gotten back to you that someone has like felt left out?
Yeah.
Have they told you directly, hey, Broden, what the hell, man?
Ooh, I don't think it's ever been like a direct thing. I think it's always been someone else being like, hey, I heard like they were kind of sad they couldn't come.
Oh my God, I wish there was a camera on your face right now. He's like, I heard that like it was kind of sad.
But yeah, juggling that is like, I don't know. Well, the other part of it is I try to like then come up with videos where like they'll shine. That way it's like, okay, when they do come in, like they have a great
They'll
spotlight.
feel good. That's so nice of you.
Because other times, like sometimes a certain person is not right for the right role. It's kind of like casting in movies. It'd be like, let's hold off. Like they'll be better in this one, that kind of thing. But yeah, like from watching the friend group thing, I don't know how you do it. Yeah, it's.
I mean,
really
you're kind of
weird.
in it. How do you do it?
I mean, I like Michael. I kind of stay a little detached too. Like,
I do see that.
yeah.
Damn. And, like, what if we just had normie friends? Like, can we just pick up a bunch of normies?
Oh no!
Would that be
What
interesting?
happens is they see us streaming and then they appear on our streams and everyone's like, "Oh, this guy's kind of funny, huh? Maybe he should start streaming." That. Yeah, working at
No. If we have normie friends, we know to draw that boundary now. Nobody on the stream. Love you, but you stay on that side of the camera.
But yeah, it's. I was talking to Ludwig about this, and he has a group of friends that he does
Features
content
and
with.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and all of them are pretty like, yeah, I don't want to stream. I just want to like help Ludwig with his shit. Like, I just want to be like production.
Okay, but what if they got popular in Among Us?
Yeah, it's like what if one day one of them just gets a lot of attention
Yeah.
and you want to be a good friend? It's like, yo, go for it. Like, I'll host you. But then now there's a vacant role that they have to fill, and what if that person gets interested?
And then
in
also
streaming?
your friendship becomes more complicated.
Yeah, because
For whatever business related reasons.
streaming, I feel like it's a job that a lot of people would want to do, but it's not something you actively pursue. If it falls into, it's like acting. I think
If you're just offered to act along Brad
Yeah.
Pitt, you're not going to say no.
it's like, well, I've never acted, so I'm not comfortable. You'll be like, I'll give it if you want me, I'll do
Actually,
it.
it's even like a way better example than acting, because acting, again, you would have to like be very skillful at that. Streaming, people just have to like you.
Yeah.
So if you already know people like you and people will watch you, for whatever reasons you got to that point, it is very hard to turn down.
Yeah, it's like, why would I work my 9 to 5 like programming job when
I could not.
I could not? I can play games.
Thanks to
with
my lovely
friends.
friend Ludwig, who has given me a career in streaming.
So, yeah, making friends in this scene has always been a little difficult. Like, people always say, "Oh, is it because of Cloud Chaser?" Like that's the obvious part of it.
Yeah,
it's just when
it's
you
more
do
than
find
that.
people you do vibe with, and you want to support them, but they become a streamer, and the relationship gets complicated. It's
I think the biggest thing is almost in any relationship, expectations and communication. I feel like everybody has different expectations of people, and then they don't communicate when they're hurt. They don't really communicate what bothers them, and that just causes for so many issues to snowball.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get better with it in time.
I don't know, man. Our friend group's pretty non-confrontational. Like, even with Broden's
Yeah.
example, it's like no one ever told him, "Hey, Broden, I kind of want to be in the next show." It's like Broden hears from someone who heard that person is sad.
Does
and-
that happen to you often? Like, do you hear a lot about this?
Okay. For
Wow,
Among
that
Us.
often?
Okay, for Among Us, I'm going to give an example involving you. You felt, I remember you messaged me because you felt a little sad that you were left out one of the lobbies.
Yeah.
And you were the only person who's ever messaged me
I'm
directly.
such a confrontational Andy. But wait, can I also set the record straight on that? Like, in my mind, I have like people that I prioritize. And I think at that point, you were like, I am going to include you because you're Among Us, dude. And also, you're like Toast, my friend of so many years. And sometimes when I feel like that's not reciprocated, that's when I'll be like, hey, I feel this way. Is there a reason why? Like, did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
Like, am I being bothersome in the game? Do you not want to play with? Like, I'd rather just talk to you behind the scenes. But again, I'm like confrontational Andy. And again, what I've learned is nobody else is like that. Why? Let's talk about our feelings. Don't just tell your friend, tell the person.
But yeah, you were, I think, the only person who ever messaged me like, "Hey, is there a reason?"
Yeah.
Or it was just like the plans get made. But I've heard from so many other people.
Put a number on it. Even like estimate a
in
number on it.
total?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Of people
man.
that you've heard either feel left out or have issues in relation to you and your content. How many fingers do I have?
I would say eight
Damn.
like that I concrete know that wasn't happy about like how some of the lobbies were made, but that
What do you do?
I think everyone felt some level of FOMO, like literally everyone, except I would say Ray and Sykkuno, because when I made lobbies, I always first invite Ray, first invite Sykkuno, right? But that leaves 7 spots.
What do you do from your perspective?
Oh, bro, I think I had a week of Among Us, I had a spreadsheet.
Oh, you tried to like even
Yeah.
out the. Oh, that's nice.
I had a spreadsheet of 5 straight Among Us Day, and every lobby had someone,
variety
a
of
variety
people,
of
yeah.
people. And
Aw.
luckily, I didn't really know about it until like the halfway point. Like maybe if I knew earlier on, I could have fixed things. But at the same time, once I learned, it was just a whole level of stress and anxiety. Because at the beginning, I was like, okay,
Something you'll keep in the back of your mind, basically.
yeah, and that's the expectation that your friends would put on you, right? And Among Us, it's 10 people. Initially, because you were there for the first day, I remember. It started off as me, Sykkuno, Scarlet, Lily, and I think you were 5th or 6th person to
I don't
join
even
that
think
day.
I was streaming at the time, but
Yeah, it was
I
just-
was just like offline.
Yeah, I was
playing.
like, hey, you want to play this game? And you said yes. But it reached a point where it got so big and everyone wants to play. And I swear to God, some of them didn't even want to play. Some of them just was like, this is popular.
A lot
Let me
of
play
people,
it.
yes.
And it was definitely hard to juggle. And I had to explain, it's like, well, this is the situation. Like, I'll try and get you into the next one.
That is tough for you.
But then Among Us reached another weird point where it became too content driven. And I know you aren't a fan of that because for those who don't know, Pokimane's the most competitive person in our friend group. When is this coming out?
Wait,
When is
integrity, bro. I have a lot of integrity.
She is the most competitive person I
like
know.
competitive integrity.
Even the simplest like games that we're playing, not even for content, she's trying to win.
It's a natural born gamer in me. What can I say?
But you guys are gonna see a video released in the next 2 weeks that will capture just how competitive Pokimane is. And it's gonna be like, wow, she is a competitive person. But
What can I say?
but Among Us turned non-competitive because a lot of streamers realize, if I am like wacky and zany, I get more attention.
Oh my god. Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Because at the beginning, you tried to win every single fucking Among Us game. That's why I kind of like both love and hated playing with you.
I
'cause
know.
It's like, she's fucking playing to win, man.
Okay, but can I say, like, it is a completely impersonal thing.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm ever competitive, it's because I take so much joy in the fun of games. Like, genuinely. And I remember, like, really great memories of Among Us lobbies where everybody was, like, trying, and it felt so fun. It was, like, a genuine massive murder mystery with all of our friends, and people are like, I saw you turn like this and do this, then you had to weigh like the different types of evidence, and everybody's having a good time and it feels like an even playing field. Things like that, I'm like, that's freaking fun. And if I do my best and I lose, that's still freaking fun because it was like an enjoyable ride the whole way there. I will say when Among Us kind of took its second turn, and I feel bad because again, like, I don't ever want to be a party pooper in certain situations, but, and this isn't like just a me perspective, I've heard this from a lot of people, there are certain points where when it becomes like just about content and not about competitive integrity at all, in the sense that people make exceptions for others for content reasons or whatever else it is, it starts to feel bad for those that feel like they're the butt of the joke. Like, if they're on a certain team and they're trying, and then they see someone make an exception for someone for clout reasons, or like give them benefits within the game for that reason, I understand why like it would feel less fun for the person playing. And I think the issue in those situations, like, you can do things for content as much as you want, but when it's like team based and there's other people involved, it will be at the detriment of someone else likely. So I just wish it was a situation where like you could do stupid things for content and it doesn't like hurt or bother anyone. But in like a game or team driven sense, it's kind of impossible, you know?
Yeah.
What did you think of those things?
Well, while all of this is going on, don't forget, these are your friends. So
Yeah, so it's also like you don't want to like, you don't want to be like, yay, why did you do that?
Yeah, like if you were playing randoms, you'd be like, yo, bro, what the fuck, man? But it's like, oh, this is your friend that you're gonna see next week at someone's birthday party. So you have to balance that with like your approach to it. Have you ever had like confrontations with like people in our friend group about stuff like that? Do you? Because
No. I think I've only ever confronted people about like personal things. When it comes to Among Us, like let's say somebody did do something that I wasn't a fan of content-wise, or it made me feel bad or whatever. Again, I don't have like a super deep relationship with everybody. I would only be bothered if it like felt personal on a certain level. And I have no way of gauging, is everybody else in the lobby okay with this? So if I assume that that's the case, which I usually will, then I won't confront someone because it's like, maybe I'm like pet peeved about something you did, but maybe everybody else doesn't care and I don't want to be a party pooper, so I won't say anything. But if I have like a deep friendship with someone and they do or say something that bothers me, then maybe if I feel like it's personal. Have you ever,
oh,
like, hey, yo, stop. You ruining my content.
I remember, I could probably tell this. It's not a big deal. It was a year ago. But I remember yelling's a strong word. I remember chastising Sykkuno because he was on cams and he was reading his chat, he was thanking subs. He wasn't reading chat, but like he was thinking, hey, thanks for subbing. Because he gets a lot of subs, right? Yeah. And it's the funniest thing because on the camera, you see me standing there and someone just walks by, stabs me, and then leaves. And he's thanking subs. And then he looks back and it's like, oh my God, Toast is dead. And I just remember like sending him a message like, bro, what the hell?
Okay, but you're competitive as shit too.
Yeah.
You're saying it like it's just me, but it's not. We see it in each other.
Yeah, like I also like the actual effort part of it, right?
Yeah, same.
So I remember saying that, and maybe I should have. I don't know. I think there was a better way for me to do it because I did it like right in the middle of the game, and it kind of like threw him off a little bit. But yeah, I'm similar where I don't like it when not everyone's trying their best, right? But you just gotta find.
I like when things feel fair.
Yeah.
And fun. Like again, everybody, same effort, same playing field. But I understand maybe that's not always best for content or memeing or whatever. Yeah,
there's almost like two groups of gamers nowadays when it comes to streamers. People who are just there for some content, fun. They play like chiller games like speedrunners, Mario Party, but they don't really try like, like silently
Okay,
play.
but that's tough because like I never felt like I was like a Hafu lobby type of person. But I also like don't just want to be in lobbies where like nobody cares and we're all just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a little hard when you want to be like a mix or you feel like you're a mix.
I've been doing since Among Us. You playing a lot of Valorant?
I really love, like, I have a great time on Valorant. But again, like, I'll have a great time on whatever is fun.
Do you feel any burnout or anxiety? Because you've been a little quiet, like everyone else, in the last 6 months.
I think I've just accepted that there are, like, high points in this career and like more dull, chill moments. But instead of looking at dull moments like, oh my God, my numbers aren't as high as Among Us days. Instead of doing that, I kind of take it like a half vacation. Like I'm just gonna play some Valorant, hang out with my friends, do what I want. I think in general in life, I've taken a bit of a chill pill. So that's how I feel right now. As opposed to burnout, it comes and goes sometimes. Right now, I'm pretty chill. Like, I'm very glad that I like Valorant. But if I didn't, can't travel, can't do anything else, don't want to play random games, I would very much feel burnout.
What makes you happy? What makes Pokimane happy?
What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Still content. I like it when my videos hit like 1 million views. I'm still very numbers driven, and
Do you like that?
yes, I like the grind. It's stressful and anxiety, but it's competitive, and I'm a very competitive streamer. But because I've been on a different platform, I could kind of take a vacation. So whenever I return to like, if I return to any other streaming platforms, I think about like competing, but I'm also worried that it changes my relationship with people again, because right now I'm on a good relationship basis with almost everyone.
Because you don't have to see anyone as competition.
Yes, like I don't.
But if you were on the same platform,
yeah,
it would be
like
different.
I would think twice about like, okay, should I invite this person? Well, they have very little viewership, but I like them. But is it gonna affect like the numbers overall? Or like if I invite a really big streamers, like am I gonna be able to get some of their viewers, or will my viewers go to them? And these are things you kind of have to think about. Like, it's not sunshine and rainbows. Let me just play with my friends, right? I don't have to think about that on Facebook. But if I was on Twitch, then it adds that layer. And I want to beat my competitors, right? When me and Scar was streaming TFT together,
yeah. What a crazy time.
it was nice because I was able to like host into him because he streamed after me, and we had shared overlapping audience. They were all watching TFT, but it also felt a little bad because I know like here's my friend who also wants to be like the top of the top, right? And that person is me, and like we're competing for 1 and 2. But we're roommates and we love each other and we care so much. And it makes me, if it was anyone else, I'd feel like, fuck you. I'm never hosting you. I'm going to stream over your time. Like I streamed over every TFT streamer's time slots, but Scara's.
Aww.
And
That's so cute.
I've been on Facebook for 2 years and I've just been gaming with people. And I worry that when I come back, it's like, hey, all of you, fuck all of you.
Different.
I'm here to take your viewers now, right? So, yeah, I still care about the numbers a lot. And that's what makes me happy. It's not... Dr. K says there's something not really fulfilling about that, but what does he know?
I mean, to be fair, he does have like a PhD and he went to Harvard, so he probably knows a couple things. Yeah. But I think the thing that keeps me from worrying about you in the same way that I worry about other people that view things similarly is that I feel like you are very self-aware of it and its upsides and downsides. So I assume that if there was a reason for you to change someday, like you would. And I do feel like you could probably get to a point where it just doesn't tickle your fancy anymore. Yeah. Where you'll just be like a little desensitized. I think personally, like, I've been a bit burned by there being like too much attention on me. So now I'm just like, ultimately it doesn't matter that much to me. Like, I'd rather just find genuine happiness in like day-to-day things.
What is genuine happiness for you?
Oh, actually, another thing about competitive streaming in relation to one of the prompts from earlier, I think my biggest fear is developing some kind of like crazy health issue or really, really cutting off many years off my life due to what we do. Yeah. Like, I think that's my biggest fear. So that's also something that creates a barrier around me viewing streaming as like being competitive. Because I understand, like, if you want to be an XQC or a Hassan or whatever, like, you stream 10 hours a day. You do 24-hour streams. I legit don't. I'm not built like that, bro. I'm not.
Yeah, because we are like essentially the first of our generation, like the hardcore streamer. Now, I know there are people who streamed before us, but they are more chill, like 5-6 hours at most. But this new generation of streamers where people realize, oh, to be the top, you have to like be entertaining,
every day.
and stream a shit ton.
So it's caffeine, 12-hour streams, or whatever else is stimulating you,
What
and
do
you're
you
just
think?
going. But is it even possible to do that without health repercussions? I have no idea.
Do you think some of the hardcore long hour streamers are on anything?
Adderall for sure. Probably. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't say it on podcast, but like people take
No,
Adderall.
I'll say it. People take Adderall.
Don't do that. Like if you do not have ADD or ADHD or don't need those medications, don't take them, because at least personally, I don't find something like that is worth potentially changing the way your brain is wired, essentially.
Yeah, it's a prescribed drug for a reason.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, I have to imagine like some streamers who stream like 16 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them must be on something that's not
I think
caffeine.
they've even said it before, though. I don't want to speak for people because, okay, sorry, this is another problem I have with knowing so many streamers. I hear about things and I cannot remember whether they said it on stream, whether I heard from someone, whether they told me personally. Like, I start to forget. And the other thing is, maybe I assume, you guys probably both feel this way, you hear so much from your friends about everyone else, it's almost like I can't view people the same way anymore. I have to start like compartmentalizing people. It's information overload. But what I mean to say is whether I heard it, personally, or I'm pretty sure people have said this on stream that like they just take Adderall every day, but they think that like it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta.
Please only take prescribed meds if you're prescribed. That's what I'd recommend.
We don't really know the effects of long-term streaming. Like carpal tunnel, I think is the obvious one.
Yeah, but I feel like it's gotta be way more.
Yeah. But like you're just sitting hunched over your desk, staring at a screen for 16 hours, talking nonstop.
Yeah.
Like
Sometimes I worry my voice is gonna change.
from talking so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I sit at home and I'm like, you need to shut the fuck up.
Do you have any aspirations? Like mine is being in Hollywood. What's your aspirations?
It's funny when you say aspirations, I just hear like ass and I'm like, I want a fat ass. That's my aspiration.
Having a fat ass. Oh,
I mean, that's what you go to the gym for.
Compare our butts.
Oh my God, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need some measuring tape. This is a convo from like a very long time ago.
Oh, we whose ass is fatter, me or Poki's?
Definitely mine.
This was like a debate or something?
Yeah.
Yes. You guys have
Okay,
you seen
because
my ass?
no, he do be double cheeked up on a Tuesday or Thursday or whatever, all days of the week. But that doesn't mean he outclasses me, bro.
We have tape measures here. We can do this
We
later.
need to measure this.
We can measure.
No.
The debate needs to be settled.
Yeah.
100 gifted if you're back on
100
another
gifted
streaming
subs.
platform.
Because I'm very proud of my ass. I've shown it.
I'm
on
glad you
social
are.
media.
Do you work for it? Is it just like natural?
No, it's natural.
Like it's just always been that. Has it gotten better or worse since you started gymming?
I think worse because I've lost some weight, and because my ass is all fat and natural, I think a lot of it is just regular fat. Do you work on your ass?
Yeah. Oh my God, I need to show you because if like you're naturally gifted, this is the way that I think of like making a butt in the gym. It's almost like real estate. If you have a nice plot of land, you can build bigger and higher. Yeah, so if you're already naturally gifted, you got a nice foundation, the gains will only be better and bigger. Yeah. You're going to be on some Kim K stuff. Let's go, Toes.
So how do you work out your ass? Is there muscles in there that you make bigger?
Yes. Not only that, there are different muscles. There are muscles that make like the side of your butt poke out. There's like the majority muscle that makes it like more bubble-ish. And then there's like your hamstrings to like create definition. Your quads can sometimes even like make you look curvier. I need to show you. All you need is hip thrusts, bro.
I was gonna say, Tess, have you? For the
You do
listeners at
hip
home,
thrusts?
Poki, you'll have to describe or something, but you like feet are here, knees there, and then you go like that with your hips. That's really good for your glutes.
I hope that doesn't look weird on that camera. You might have to blur it out. But yeah,
I don't think we're catching it.
You're just humping the air,
Pretty
Yes,
much, yeah.
essentially.
yes, absolutely. But that builds your glutes like no other.
Got it. And that's your aspirations to have a fat ass.
I was just making a joke about the word. But my actual aspirations, I think like clout is cool and all, but I'd like to have more like meaningful impact in some way. What that means exactly, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like I explore it more and more with every year, and with, as you know, my company coming out, that'll be a way to explore it. So we'll see where life takes me. Do you want like a family and kids? Yeah, because like sometimes like, I feel like that is an important like differentiating factor sometimes in people's lives. Like I do want a family and kids.
Oh, man.
I guess that's something I aspire to.
Yeah, I think people in Offline just doesn't have time to think about family and kids because they're gonna detract from streaming.
Yes, but then like if you don't take the time to think about anything, nothing in your life will ever change. Because you need to think about it in order to set time aside to do something to accomplish anything.
No.
I could see that though. We're all just 40 playing Among Us.
Yeah, like for the next 2 years, I don't see any of us stopping what we're doing. But yeah, like family, kids, we don't really think about that. We're just so fixated. Like streaming is a bit of a trap sometimes. So
Yeah,
it just
but
keeps you in here.
do you ever think like, is this fixation my choice?
Yeah, I think it's hard. Like, it's easier when you're like near the top. Like, it's pretty easy for me to detach from it and not worry about it too much because I know like if I ever want to get back into it, I could. But when you're in the mid tier and all your friends are talking about, it's like, oh, streaming, I'm doing collab here, I'm doing a stream here. And you're like, oh, God, I need to do a stream there. Like, if you're out and about and someone whips out their vlog camera, it's like, oh, God, they're vlogging. I need a vlog. And it's just this, like, we're feeding into each other.
Now I almost feel bad.
Vlogging?
I don't want to make any of our friends feel like they need to do anything. You know what I mean? I don't want to impose on them any sort of expectations or feelings of inadequacy either. Sometimes I worry about that. Like, do you feel like I'm intimidating?
Yes, you're the most intimidating person in our friend group. And
But
I'm saying that as
sorry.
one of the more intimidating ones.
Do you feel like me or you are intimidating or that people are intimidated? Because the differentiation I'm trying to make is like, if I do anything to intimidate others, I would want to know that. Like if I like show up in a room and I'm like mean mugging everybody, don't talk to me. You know? Like if that's what I do, then I wouldn't want to do that. How do you view it?
I think you're someone, you mentioned this, you're someone with expectations of people based on friendship. Not as in like, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. But like when you put someone like in higher regards, it means a lot to you. And when they fail to meet like the same regard that you're giving them, like it hurts you a lot. But a lot of people don't know or aren't super aware of it. So I think that's what's intimidating about you to people. Because you've always been very nice to people in person, like especially fans. For those who don't know, Pokimane, when it comes to fans,
yeah.
First-hand witness, she's not a bitch, she's not a diva. She makes an effort, but she'll say like, hey, I remember this at TwitchCon where we were rushing to a place. And most people just don't have the balls to say, no, sorry, I gotta go. But I remember you took some pictures, but then it was getting too much and you just say, hey guys, I can't. I love all of you. And you went, right?
Showies.
So you're always very nice, but it's that I liken you to some like a Daenerys Targaryen where people love you, but there's also a sense of fear.
I want them to fear me as much as they love me, but also love me a lot. I get what you mean, and I can see that. And I hope that the people that I do hold in high regards realize that it's because I would kill for you. So if you don't kill for me, what are we? But I'm also curious about people that like I'm just not that close to. Sometimes I worry that people find me intimidating just because of like our work differences, our viewership difference. But like, that is something that I do not care about at all. If anything, I think I love people when they are unafraid of me. When they'll just like come to me, act like who they are, don't care about anything. I find that very like amicable or I just like it.
Do you like it when they're a little afraid of you?
I wouldn't say I like it per se, but if it's due to the right reasons, I will find that flattering. You know?
To be afraid of you.
If it's for the right reasons. You know, I would hope it's not anything that I impose on them, but if they're like, oh my God, like I just think so highly of you, it almost scares me. I'm like, oh, like that's kind of cute. Yeah. What about you? I think you are also like, it's funny because I can imagine people having similar sentiments towards us both due to like also the positions we hold in our friend group. But the way we are in social circles is so different. It's like really interesting. Toast is like elusive, mysterious. He comes in and out like a cat that you really want to like you, but you can't fucking tell if they do. That's Toast. Me, I'm like talking to everybody.
Yeah, we are very I feel like we are very similar in regards to our prestige, but different in how we show it with our friend group. Because I can say this in meetings, there's good cop, bad cop. Pokimane is bad cop, and I'm good cop. And I don't
know if you'd be good cop. I don't know if anyone in particular is good cop. But I think I do tend to be like devil's advocate. I'm very straightforward about stuff.
And I always say it's like a hard road to be like the bad cop, to be the quote unquote party pooper. But
I have to be a hard ass sometimes, but it's because like I've been with OTV literally since day one, obviously, and I've seen us be hurt by so many things. Yeah. I just don't want to hurt anymore, man.
And it's tough because you want everyone to get along, but there are things that should be said, and someone's got to say them, right? And you generally take on that responsibility. And it's like, wow, Poki, wow, I can't believe she said that. But I'm also glad she said that, so I'm not the one saying that.
Yeah, no, it's really just because there are so many times where I've seen us get very swept up in the yes, okay, anything, yes, okay, anything. And it always bites us in the ass. Well, almost always. And it's been tough, even personally, for me to be like, should I like still try to like be bad cop or play devil's advocate or like explain why certain things maybe aren't good, even if it's the easiest thing. But as long as like I feel like it's something you guys appreciate or that is needed, then I'm happy to do that for the betterment of the whole. Yeah.
But to answer your question, I I like it when they're a little fearful. Like if I can't have their love, I would rather have their fear. Right?
Would you rather have their love or their fear? I think it probably depends on the person.
It depends on the person. Like some people in our friend group are like, I want you to be afraid of me.
Why is that? Maybe it like showcases a sense of respect.
Yeah, and also some people are just more likely to overstep boundaries or make mistakes, and I want to be able to like kind of call them out on it without that complication of liking the person. So, and people do try and be my friend, and I keep them at an arm's length. It's like, you know, I like you, but, you know, I don't show my friendship in a conventional manner. Like, people don't really hug me, or, like, I don't show love very openly. It's so that...
When you do get a toast hug, it's a good day, you know?
Yeah, but, like, when someone messes up and I have to be the one to send them a message and, like, say, hey, you know, this was not very cool, like, you fucked up, It's really
Wait,
hard.
can we just take a moment? Imagine getting that message from Toast. I had to pee my pants on the spot.
I think I've sent it to. I've sent it to Peter once. I sent it
I think I recall.
Edison once, and in both cases, like a month after, I'd be like, "Oh man, I feel really bad," because
Aw.
that's not a great way to form a friendship. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't have to be as harsh as I am sometimes, but
It's probably hard for you to imagine a different way of going about it.
yeah. Because who else will?
Have those convos.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about being bad cop.
It's like
sometimes.
Yeah, because especially with girls, because girls, I think it's a little more complicated because you're expected to be like, hey, we're all friends, everything's cool, we all love each other, best friends, and very non-confrontational. I think the girls are way more non-confrontational than the guys. So as one of the more forward girls, I imagine it's really hard for you to just message someone. It's like, hey, can we talk? And it's like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah, interestingly enough, I think with business and like probably as you've seen, like I'm pretty straightforward about stuff. Yeah. But when it comes to personal relationships, from what I've seen and heard, I feel like I'm much more considerate and emotionally aware than a lot of other people. So it's like I will confront people about things, but I won't, like, that doesn't mean that I have to do it in a mean way, especially if I care about them, especially if they're like a girlfriend of mine. I actually feel like the standards there, like Celine, you know, like you can imagine the convos we have with each other, like they're never ever mean or bitter. It's like, hey, you did this and I don't know how I feel about it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. And I want you to know that I care about you. You know, it's very, very cutesy in that regard, which I appreciate. But then with business, I'm like, this is clear cut. Done.
Have you ever yelled at someone before?
Over message or in person?
In person, like
yeah,
audibly, that yelled at them.
You know who. But they yell at me. I mean, you'll have to bleep it or whatever. But fucking crazy. He had anger management issues. This one time, he literally hit the chair that I was sitting in because he was mad at me for not like going somewhere. And that's when I'm like, what the fuck? So maybe like a couple yelling times there. But even then, not that much.
Ever do it in like a business sense?
Ever yelled in a business setting? I think. Do you recall me yelling in meetings?
No.
Really?
Not meetings.
Yeah. I can't imagine a situation that I'd be yelling because I have like an agent and a manager. And you know, like when it comes to like there's a company or sponsor and then there's agent and manager, they have to be the bad guys. Mm-hmm. Thank the good Lord. Yeah. So I think you have to be like, oh, sweet, innocent content creator in that position. And then I just tell them all the things that I feel. And then they can yell for me if need be. But even then, I feel like there's no reason to yell in business. Like if someone doesn't respect me enough to conduct themselves properly, deuces. Have you yelled?
Once.
Ooh, what was it?
It was at my agent. Mm-hmm. Because I had a sponsorship and dedicated YouTube videos is probably one of the biggest like thing you can do for a sponsor.
Yeah.
It lives on your YouTube. It's an entire video dedicated to something that's not your regular content. Mm-hmm. Lives there forever, right?
And impacts the algorithm sometimes.
Yeah, because you're going off your regular content. Mm-hmm. And he left out a whole dedicated video deliverable. And this contract was signed, set in stone. And I already did 80% of it. And at the very end, he said, by the way, you need to do another whole YouTube video.
No.
And that didn't set me off, but in the back of my head, like, this is a huge fuck up. But I didn't say anything, and I just did it. And then after that, there was another mistake, and I snapped, and I yelled at him, like, full volume and swore, and
I would have paid to see that.
I felt really bad afterwards. Surely we ended our relationship, but yeah, that's the one time I yelled in the business or in any setting, because I feel like yelling is really not conducive
Too much.
to nothing is made better by yelling. Yelling is just like,
It's just it's a way you release your anger almost.
yeah, it won't fix it,
But it for sure makes the situation worse.
Worse, yeah.
I think that's why it's so hard for me to remember moments where I yell. There's plenty of moments where I am very bothered by someone being incompetent. I think that's my number one trigger, actually. When I hire someone and I feel any sense of them being incompetent. Like, if I can do your job better than you, this no bueno. So I won't lie, I feel that sentiment a lot, but I never yell at them for it, just because in my mind it's like they're not going to do any better by me yelling. So
do you give them the, I'm kind of disappointed by this?
Yeah, I'll hit him with the disappointment. That one's a good one. It triggers the parental feelings. I communicate probably too much. Like, again, just very confrontational. I'll be like, I feel like you should have done this. And I'm very straightforward about every time that I feel that way, so that I make sure they get the hint. Yeah, that's life.
Yeah. That's how you got to do it. All right.
I don't know how we are for time. Are we at like 1:30? What we at?
Wow. It's because we don't get to talk that often.
I know.
We have so much to talk about.
We really do. The only other thing that I thought might be interesting was like the relationship stuff. I think that could be interesting.
See, I didn't want to bring that up. I'm glad you brought it up.
No, listen, Toast. I came here to be an open guest. Ask me the spicy stuff.
All right. So from all the years I've known you, you've been very, very like low key about your personal relationship, dating, anything regarding to that, because you've seen firsthand just how messy things get.
Yeah.
Do you still feel similarly as you did all those years ago, where you feel like anything I do relationship wise, or even like shipping or like flirting, has to be kept under wraps? Or are you more open to talking about stuff like that now?
I'm more curious to hear from you first, and then I'll talk. Yeah, how do you feel about it all? Because we're on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. You've had a very public relationship. You've seen the ups of it, the downs of it. Now, how do you feel about moving forward? It's hard, right?
Probably wouldn't talk. Okay, so this is the weird thing. Relationship content does very well. Like BFGF stuff, or even just like flirting, or the beginning of like shipping, content wise. Or dating shows like Tinder, swiping right, swiping left, right? These are all things you can do when you're single, and people love it because there's a lot of lonely people out there living vicariously through their favorite streamer, whatever. But it's cool when you're in it. It's exciting. It's like, wow, so much people are paying attention, right?
Ew.
But it makes. It's hard to be genuine. At some point, you don't know, like, am I doing this because...
Where the line is.
Yeah. And it's like, when we do stuff, it's like, why is one of the first questions, it's like, are we streaming this? And you want to go on a date, you want to grab dinner. It's like, hey, maybe we should vlog it. It's like, it's not a normal relationship. And I don't know if there's a lot of... Can you think of a lot of, like, public streamers where both participants are like big streamers and it's successful?
Probably just Lud and Cutie. And even them, like, I think everything that they do is great, but I'm sure they still have their struggles. I don't mean personally, but I'm sure they still feel some of the downsides of having a public personal relationship. Yeah,
because there's been quite a few breakups over the last few months, and every time there's thousands of people commenting on your relationship. It's like, oh, wow, why didn't it work out? What do you think that is? Let's go back and look at all these clips from the past and commentate on it.
Oh, that's so cringe.
I probably keep my stuff private.
Low-key.
Very just like not talk about it. If I was like seeing someone, I feel like if I wasn't seeing someone, then I'd probably just go to the other.
I'm single. Any girls want to link up?
I went through that phase for a while, and then I just completely stopped because I realized 60% of my tweets was talking about like girls, and that does give off an air of like, oh man, do you talk about anything else, bro? So after I had the realization, I decided to just never tweet about girls or like relationships or anything like that. It gets good engagement, it's funny, but
you don't want your brand to be built off that, or like your reputation,
Yeah.
what people know you for. That's true.
and also it started affecting the girls that I did know. It's like no one wants to date a guy who only talks
Tweets
about
that.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
true.
and the girls who would be interested in that probably aren't the girls you want to talk to anyway. So yeah.
Very, very, very true.
What about you? How has your perspective changed?
I think in the past, okay, when I first got into streaming, even like baby streamer, part-time, still in college, whatever, I was like, I don't ever want to publicize my relationship with someone else within the space because I don't ever want that to be used against me to invalidate my success.
Yeah.
And then I became very successful and people invalidated it anyway. So just kidding. But I actually don't think that's the worst thing because that's probably one of the things you don't hear as much. Like sometimes you'll hear like Fortnite myth, this and that, but like you just can't really say that I built all these channels and like my empire or whatever through someone else.
Yeah.
Not even that is necessarily like a bad thing. If you get exposure through someone else, that's totally fine. But I just know that personally coming up or starting, that was already like a main point of mine where I was like, I want to make it on my own.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt then. But now I'm kind of at a point where it's like, could not, it doesn't impact me that much. Like someone else being involved in my life isn't going to like make or break me essentially. So to be honest, I have no idea. What do you think? You know, if I start seeing someone, I should be like, guys, this is Alexander. That's my go-to name. I don't know why.
Alexander.
This is Alexander. I feel like when I get married, then I'll be like, this my hubs, because it's forever.
So it's gonna go from zero public exposure to, by the
I'm
way,
married
husband
and pregnant. I feel like that might actually be me, but I'm just not 100% sure if like I should. Yeah, at this point in my life, like I'm mid-20s.
Are you
Obviously, I'll be
comfortable
dating.
talking about
whatever.
like past stuff?
Only ambiguously, so it depends what. Yeah.
Have you been on a date in the last 3 years?
Yeah.
How have you been on any bad dates? Because you told some stories to me of like of you showing up to a date and them dropping some bombs on you.
Yes. You want that story?
Yeah.
Okay. I will try to TLDR it. So, because I have this thing with stories where like if I tell it at full, I'm telling it at full. Essentially, I matched with this guy on a certain app and this was
you use dating apps.
Not
Used
anymore.
Dating apps. Right.
In the past when I tried to use them, I got banned off of every single one. So this time specifically, I was like, I want to try a dating app specifically meant for like Middle Easterns because I'm Moroccan and I've never really dated someone who's Middle Eastern. So I was like, let's see what this would be like. Maybe we'll have some cultural similarities, maybe to connect on that. So I downloaded this app called Baklava. Which, like, the app's not bad, but it was fine. And I specifically, like, I made everything so sus, so no one would, like, know right away that it's me. I used photos I'd never posted before. I used photos where, like, you can't fully see me. Like, I'm hiking, and it's, like, the back of my head or whatever, things like that. So I didn't get, like, immediately yeeted off the app like I usually do. Because apps usually think I'm catfishing myself, which is such an odd problem to have. So after a couple days of being on the app, honestly, I was just so overwhelmed. Have you used dating apps recently at all?
No, not recently.
It's just a lot of work. Like, even just thinking about whether you want to swipe. maybe it's just me. I overthink things. I'm like, this person has no information. Do I want to be shallow and swipe based off of how they look? Should I give them a chance? Should I? It's just too much decision-making process. So I decided to delete the app. But before doing that, there was one guy whose profile I liked, and we matched and we talked a bit. So I was like, hey, I'm deleting the app, but here's my number. You can text me.
Ooh.
Yeah, sheesh. You know, I made a little move. I said, later, but text me if you want.
Mm-hmm.
So he texts me. We get to talking, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, let me take you out to dinner. I was like, okay. He's like, let me take you to Nobu. Ooh. I said, okay. If you don't know, Nobu's kind of like a fancy sushi place in LA. So we made plans for like 4 days later, but in between us like starting to text and our date 4 days later, this dude was mad texting me, like mad. And again, I know like it's not that big of a deal. You know, maybe he's just really interested. But I won't lie, it just felt a little eager to me. Like, it just gave me bad vibes of like, this is not normal if like you just met someone. You maybe don't ask them everything up front via text.
Right.
Especially because to me, I was like, we have plans to like hang out in 4 days. I'll get to know you then. Anyways, so by the time the date night rolls by, I'm like, I'm not really feeling like going. I've been kind of put off by all the things he has said over text. I even tried to drop hints like, yo, we not gonna have anything to talk about at dinner if you don't stop asking me stuff. It's like, it felt like an interview via text. Right. But he was like, we're gonna be fine. I really didn't feel like going to the date, but I went anyways. I show up, and I get seated at our table, and I'm like pleasantly surprised. He's like tanned, he's fit, he's like pretty attractive. I think he's like 29 or something. We get to talking. We talk about everything on the face of the planet. Our past relationships, our expectations, literally family, marriage, religion, where we grew up, the languages we speak, everything you could possibly imagine. And things were going like pretty well. I was like, I'm pleasantly surprised. Is this what dating is like? Amazing. We're an hour and a half into dinner, and he starts telling me about his ex-wife and 2 kids.
Two kids, huh?
2, not even one of them. 2.
How old were they? Do you remember?
They were like, I think like 4 and 5.
So they're like a little grown up.
They're grown.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But I was just like, you know which GIF I'm talking about, the one that's like this. That. And I had to process on the spot, like, would I be okay with dating someone with kids? Like, what does that mean? Do I have an issue with it? Do I not? It was just like a lot to take in at once. But ultimately, what I was really bothered by was just like, how are you going to text me nonstop for 4 days, tell me so much about your life, your business? Like, I felt like I could interview at his company and like ace it. But then you don't mention your kids whatsoever until like all the way after. And I understand it must be hard for people with kids to date.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just my personal opinion that like I would be so much more attracted to someone if they were really upfront about it. They're like, I love my kids. I'm a great dad. As opposed to like, let me mention it later to try to like hook you in first.
Yeah, because this was a couple of years ago. You were like 24?
Oh, no. This happened like within the last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
So 24?
So I was 24, yeah.
Yeah. To kind of make that decision. I'm 24 years old. Am I going to be able to be essentially a surrogate mother to a 4 and 5-year-old?
It's a big decision to make. And I mean, if I was in his shoes, I would only want to be with someone that I knew would be okay with that. I feel like duping someone into it will just create like a foundation of uncertainty within the relationship anyways. So yeah, it was just like an awkward situation. All in all, like on my profile page, it's 3 photos of me and my cat.
Right.
And it's like on his, it's all just solo shots. And on his Instagram, solo shots on, like he looks so single, bachelor, no kids whatsoever. So yeah, that was my one like random dating experience. And since then, it's been a little quiet, but such is life.
Okay. Oh, I didn't expect that because like you being able to tell a story because
I wanted to tell this story in a short form and I still couldn't. Like that's
as short as it gets.
Really though.
Yeah, it's I'm glad to see that you are a little more open with that, because I think if you talked about dating like 2-3 years ago, I can imagine the reaction would be like, oh, Pokimane is like seeing other people, and then people will make fun of the Sims. They say, oh, all the Sims are gonna unsubscribe. It's like, no, they're making up all these imaginary scenarios and it's like laughing at it, right?
Yeah.
But
it's just like drama for no reason. Yeah. Whereas like I am a regular 25-year-old, just like any other one. Yeah. So
cool. I'm glad. I love hearing that story.
I will tell you many more stories then. And you can give me dating advice in the future. We're like, you know what? Go public. You know what? Don't. Shh. I don't freaking know. Yeah. But at least I have friends to go on this journey with.
Yeah. All right. We did a viewer question last week. Yeah. And Pokimane is great at giving advice.
Oh, thanks.
Remember Dr. Poki?
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
We do that again soon, I think.
All right. We have one viewer question. Potabi. I met this single girl a few weeks ago, and we really hit it off. Hang out every couple of days, just one-on-one. And she always steers the conversation towards relationship topics and feels flirty. She asked if I had a crush on anyone, and I told her I liked her. But she said she had to collect her thoughts before responding. But she hasn't brought it up since then, and we've been talking like usual. Thoughts on the situation, and how should I go about this moving forward? Look, this bitch baited you. All right, look.
Thanks for watching.
I used to be a bit of an incel. I'm not anymore. I'm recovering. But like, if
don't worry, he still relapses sometimes. It's crazy.
It's coming out now. I'm fighting it. How do you hang out with a guy one-on-one, talk about a relationship, and then say, hey, you got a crush on anyone?
There is some ambiguity there. Like, you can hang out with guys one-on-one. Again, we don't know how dry or like exciting this really was, in the sense that, things are very like subjective. You could think she's giving you all these signs and she's just smiling.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very subjective in that sense. However, I actually think like he's right when he says like, hanging out one-on-one, relationships topics, feeling flirty, because when he brought up how he felt, she didn't say she didn't feel the same. So I don't think he was fully misreading the situation. I just think it's time that you kindly prepare a way to bring it up again.
But if she was interested, why didn't she just say, yeah, I do have a crush on you?
Maybe she was gauging it, and then as soon as he was like, I like you, which honestly, like, damn, ballsy. I thought he was going to be like, oh, like I said, I like someone, but I didn't tell her who, you know?
Oh, there's this girl I like. She's really cool.
We hang out sometimes, Yeah. I feel like maybe she was expecting that, so she was surprised by how straightforward he was. So I would say what I love is like anytime you're unsure about an interaction, just prep the fuck out of it. Literally sit there with a pen and paper and be like, how will I bring this up? Hello. What's a good girl name? Ashley. Ooh, that's like a hot girl name. Shit. She gonna break your heart. Anyways, hello, Ashley. You're like mid-convo, how's it going, blah, blah. By the way, very casually, I was wondering if you had some time to think about what we mentioned during our last hangout. Boom, that's it. And then you're opening up the dialogue. And I also encourage you to think through some possible things she would say, some things you could rebuttal with, how to move the conversation along. Yeah.
She just likes the attention, my guy. She's just using you to feed her ego.
Insult there. Insult us there.
I mean,
let me give you some hope though. I feel like if that was the case, she would have just said no. She got what she wanted, the attention, knowing that he likes her. Well, but for her to say, I'm not sure, potential.
But it's also hard to say no when you're alone in a room with a guy and say, hey, do you like me? It takes a strong woman to be like, no, I don't.
What does it say about me if like I would for sure say no?
Because you're a strong woman.
Hey, I'm just confrontational as fuck. Do you like? I feel like having someone's like being someone's crush is like a responsibility.
Yeah,
like you owe them to be straightforward with them. So, yeah, I guess that's how I usually see it.
But yeah. You should find out though, like follow up.
You just gotta ask again. You'll never know because We can't tell you for sure how she feels. It could really go either way. Maybe she did just want the attention. But maybe she's just shy and she really likes you, but she just had to think it through.
Yeah, don't come out the gate accusing her of, you stringing me along, man. But
Yes, very important.
you're going to ruin your chances instantly. But you got to be like, if you like her and you don't want like this wishy-washy friend zone thing, it is your responsibility
Set
to
those
like,
boundaries.
hey, you know, I really like you and I want to figure things out. So like, I need a more clear answers. Like, is it a possibility? Like, you don't want to be stuck in this, all right, let's never talk about it, but we're still hanging out one-on-one, but you don't want to, you're not into me? What do you think, Broden?
Give her an ultimatum.
Is that what you would do?
I would do like what Poki said. I would do like a.
I'm trying to imagine what he would say. Tell me now, or I will murder your cat. Like,
You bring it up casual. Bring it up in a way that it's like no stress and no
yes.
like, whatever answer is gonna be fine.
Actually, one of my favorite like conversation hack tips for that is a way to really get an answer out of someone and to gauge how they feel about something is you tell them, hey, I just wanted to see about XYZ. Do you want to blah, blah, blah? And you say the opposing option and you make it very clear that that opposing option is okay. Let me explain. Let's say you and someone like have plans to hang out, but you feel like they're not really like, they don't want to anymore, or whether it's liking someone, whatever. You say, hey, do you still want to hang out? Or do you want to maybe do something another time or whatever? And like, don't worry, like it's really not a big deal. If you make the other option like equally appealing and make it clear that it doesn't matter to you which way they choose, then they'll be honest with you. But if you just say, do you want to X? Sometimes like, oh God, I feel pressure to say yes. But if you say both options and they're totally fine, even if deep down you would cry if she said no, you gotta pretend that you don't care and then she'll tell you the truth. But I don't want to hang out. I don't like you. If you don't like me, it's totally okay. We can still be friends.
And then you cry.
And then
Yeah, you cry anyways.
Yeah, because looking at the situation now, it feels like a friend zone, undefined thing, and he is gonna like bother him. So, you know.
Yeah, I've seen things go all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a lot of times.
you get them answers in a nice, nonchalant, stressful free way.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of times a guy gets too demanding and then it's
Yes.
just over with.
Yes. So it is really, really good rule of thumb to just never ever put pressure when you're asking these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Or demand an answer by a certain day. Oh my God, a guy did that to me once.
Oh,
And-
how'd that work out?
Yeah, I specifically have a thing where if someone puts pressure on me, sometimes even when it's a thing that's like good for me, I'll be like, oh, you think you can make me do something? No. Like I will just back the F off as soon as I feel any sort of pressure like that.
All right. So definitely don't demand or pressure her or anything, but
Agreed.
you gotta find out, right? You gotta have expectations so
Yo,
you're
can
not
you
stuck in
update
this.
us? I want to know what happened.
Yeah, Potabi. Oh
Someone
yeah,
hit up Potabi.
do
I
want
wanna
an
know.
update. It's like I listened to Toast and told her to fuck up, and now I'm crying. Or I listened to.
I listened to
Poki.
Poki and I asked kindly, and now we're married with 3 kids
Yeah,
and a picket fence and a golden retriever. So
it's better than a no. And honestly, if she didn't like you, she could just not hang out with you, right?
yeah.
So you have a chance, but you gotta.
Good luck.
You gotta follow it. All right, that was fun.
That was very fun.
I'm very invested in if he turns out to be like a.
Same, because like I get no straightforward reads from this.
Yeah.
It's like it could go either way.
Yeah. If you guys want to leave more questions, leave it in, I don't know, the YouTube comments or the Reddit thread.
Yeah, where do you get these from?
I think this one was from the Reddit thread on r/.
Offline
Offline
TV, the most poppin' subreddit there ever was.
Yes, what she said. All right. You know, I think that was a good one to end it on.
Great
I had a
time.
great time
I
talking to you.
really enjoy talking to you too. I'm happy to be on the podcast anytime.
Yeah.
Or to just talk anytime.
Talk shit about people.
Hell
we love
yeah.
doing that. Thank you all so much for watching the podcast. Hope you guys are having a nice drive home, or if you're doing your homework.
Aw,
When
that's
do you
so
listen to
cute.
podcasts?
During anything. I'll shower and listen to a podcast.
All right.
A lot. Do my hair, do my makeup, clean
You're
the
showering.
house. Ooh, if you're
doing your
showering,
makeup?
scrub your butt.
Do you scrub your butt?
Yeah.
Do you use a bidet?
I don't have one in my current apartment. Very sad stuff.
Yeah,
You use a bidet?
No. I feel like the bidet is too messy.
I have to use wet wipes instead.
All right.
Peasant life.
Thank you for watching. Now you know how we clean our
butts.
asses.
Yeah, thanks. We talk about asses a lot, though. Okay, sorry. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll measure ours in the next one.
In the next one.
Yeah,
We'll
so
have
now
tape
we're
measures.
baiting them to listen to our next duo podcast.
And then we can clickbait it.
Yes,
Perfect.
sounds good. So bring the measuring tape then.